Hey, it's Zane here and welcome back. So in this video today, I'm actually at home. We're in the middle of a cyclone, actually, pending cyclone due to hit in the next few hours here in southeast Queensland. So my normal studio, which is my truck, I'm not in today, so I'm at home. But I wanted to drop this video and I appreciate you being here today. Today I want to talk about why, when it comes to Bitcoin, you don't need permission. Now, what I mean by that is I talk to people on a regular basis who, they're not starting to learn about Bitcoin because nobody's told them to go and do it. And unfortunately, we're in a society now where people have become, I guess, very much subservient and, they don't have it in them to actually proactively go out and self-educate and take care of their situation unless somebody tells them that they need to do it. And I'm not sure what's really got us to this point, but for me, I believe that it's a problem, and I believe that many people who have that mentality, unfortunately, as we go through this great reset, which is an unavoidable financial reset that's going to take place globally around the world because of the fact that we're at the end of this 50 plus year monetary experiment, and we have a debt-based system that is only getting worse. The national debts are only getting worse in the US, Australia, all of the Western countries, and they have to create inflation in order to demonetize the debt. And so because of that situation, we have to understand that inflation is here to stay. The cost of living, that's going to continue to rise. Our standard of living, that's going to continue to fall. The growing wealth gap, that's going to continue to only get wider. And, the price of homes, being able to, if you're a young person, in your 20s, thinking about your future and having a family and laying your roots down and, having the great Australian dream or the great American dream of owning your own home and building a prosperous future for yourself and your family. All of that is at grave risk right now because of this debt-based financial system that we're in. And this is why Bitcoin is often referred to as a life raft escape from the sinking financial Titanic. The debt-based system that we're all a part of, but we actually have the option now to opt out of. And so don't wait for permission, for some kind of a guided pathway or a national or a government announcement or some emergency kind of alert that now is the time for you to go and learn about Bitcoin, because it's not going to happen. We have to understand that Bitcoin is a life raft escape. It is an opportunity, an option for you to opt out of the debt-based financial system that is causing all of these problems. Now, if you're in the top 5% and you're not feeling any of these problems, maybe because, the price of your real estate has tripled in the last 4 or 5 years, like it has in many desirable areas, particularly up here in Queensland. It's very common. People have stumbled across some significant wealth in a very short space of time, really through no fault of their own or through no good management of their own. It's just the way that things have unfolded because of the unprecedented amount of money printing and inflation that has been created. And so maybe you're in that top 5%, and so none of this you feel applies to you. But I'd still implore you to learn about Bitcoin for all of its other benefits associated with separation of money from state, separating yourself from the system, and ensuring your financial self-sovereignty and asset portability, and Bitcoin being the world's first true asset that you can absolutely own. Unlike real estate, unlike shares, which you really only have a paper claim on, and for as long as you're paying the rates and the land taxes and Mind you, you have no control over what those rates and land taxes are, so the rules can always be changed on you, but so long as you have a paper claim on them and the rules stay relatively stable, yes, you own that asset. But you never really truly own that asset. With Bitcoin, it is like granite. It is something that you absolutely 100% own. You are completely separated from state in terms of that ownership, and you have absolute sovereignty and portability globally with that asset. And it is also highly, highly liquid. You can liquidate Bitcoin in a matter of hours, if not minutes. If you try to liquidate a $5 million piece of real estate, I'm sure you understand what that involves in terms of time and cost and its lack of portability. So I digress a little bit because I'm talking about the top 5% there, but it still needs to be said because I know a lot of very high net worth individuals who feel that they don't need Bitcoin because they are financially set for life. And even if they are financially set for life in their own mind, they are still part of this debt-based system, even if they're not in debt themselves. And so we have to understand that the debt-based system is a control system. And so what Bitcoin represents is not just a number go up technology up and to the right forever, because it is the world's first truly fixed supply deflationary monetary instrument, which basically means that over time the value of it only goes up because it is absolutely scarce, and it is absorbing financial energy from all of the other less scarce assets and the infinite asset, which of course is the Australian dollar and the US dollar and the euro and all of these other currencies. And so because Bitcoin is the most scarce, it is the fastest horse in the race. And that is why when you park your financial energy into Bitcoin, over time what you have to look forward to is that you're not only protecting and preserving that financial energy and your savings, but you're actually growing your financial future, because you are not just keeping up with inflation, you are actually far exceeding inflation. And so that means that over time, your standard of living, when you park your value in Bitcoin, only goes up, not down. And so in order to understand this, in order to at least have your mind open to all of this, you need to give yourself permission. You don't have to wait for permission from an authority or from a friend or from a colleague or from a mate at the pub or from your wife, your brother, your husband, your sister. You don't have to wait for permission from anybody. You simply need to have a self-responsibility, self-education, sovereignty, personal sovereignty, financial sovereignty mindset, and then you need to give yourself permission to go on the hunt for learning. And this is what I did. I didn't think I needed Bitcoin when I first heard about it in 2013. I thought I knew everything I needed to know about money. I was doing very well. My business was doing great. I owned real estate. Life was good. I didn't think I needed Bitcoin. And the more I ignored it, the more there was some little flashing light in the back of my brain that kept saying to me over the ensuing few years that, you really should pay some attention to this thing. And, I've always been somebody to think outside the box. I've always been somebody to be proactive and to be willing to be a student and to learn. And I think it was that mindset and frame of reference that I've had over many years that kind of caused me to, keep sort of coming back to it and to at least, consider learning more about Bitcoin. But it wasn't until, 2018 that I really started to dive into it quite deeply. But the only person that I got permission from in order to do that was from myself. And so I just don't want you to make the mistake that 95% of the population who hears about Bitcoin is making. And that is to dismiss it, to ignore it, to think that they know better, to think to themselves that they don't have time to learn about money, even though, maybe their life financially could be better. And so, these are all, I guess, ego mistakes that we make because we're not open-minded enough to realize that Bitcoin is actually transforming the financial landscape all around us. And even though we may not know it yet, by giving ourselves permission to jump over our ego and to at least spend 5 hours, 10 hours reading a book, listening to an audio, listening to a few podcasts, watching one documentary. I mean, I've referred a lot of people to the 90-minute documentary on YouTube called God Bless Bitcoin. And it's brilliant. It's 90 minutes. Yes, you might have to give up watching your favorite Netflix show for a night. But if you go through that documentary and you watch that and you're not at least inquisitive to want to learn more, to want to go and get a book, get your hands on the Bitcoin Standard written by Saifedean Ammous, for example, well then maybe Bitcoin's not for you. If you absolutely cannot see anything after watching that doco, then, for me, I don't believe that your financial future is important to you. Simple as that. But anybody I've spoken to who I've referred to that as a first step, they've all come back to me and said, thank you so much for referring me to that video, because it's just opened my eyes and opened the doorway for me to start learning about Bitcoin. And that's really all I'm here to do, is to encourage you to move forward and learn about Bitcoin. And I know some of you, are already well down your journey when it comes to Bitcoin, and so, but I'm sure you can relate to what I'm saying here. And so you don't need permission. That's really my message here today. So stop waiting for some form of authoritative permission or announcement or directive that says now's the time for you to go and learn about Bitcoin. If the US announces a strategic Bitcoin reserve, which I believe is going to happen in the short term, then I think that's going to be a trigger point that's going to see the price of Bitcoin absolutely skyrocket, which basically means that you've got no time to waste. And so if you're even minutely interested in what this is about, the sooner you start learning about it, the better, because as soon as you can develop enough certainty or conviction or belief or understanding about what Bitcoin is, and then go to the next step, which is to start parking your economic energy in it, even if it's just a small amount to begin with, the sooner you do that, the better off that you're going to be. But the longer you keep putting it on the back burner, saying that it's not important, saying that you're too busy, saying that you're too late, the longer you keep subscribing to all of those mind viruses that exist around Bitcoin, then the less chance that you have that Bitcoin is going to be able to empower you to, brighten your financial future. And that may be to retire early. That may be to take care of your superannuation before it's too late, to have a good look at it and how it's performing, and to ask yourself, is this how I want to dedicate the next 10, 15 years of my working life to this kind of financial performance? Because, you want to know that you're going to get to 60, 65 years old and you've got a nest egg that's of value. And of course, in this country, superannuation is what everybody's relying on for the most part. And yet most people don't realize that their superannuation is hopelessly underperforming. Do you want to supercharge the performance of investments that you already have in place? Do you want to get out of debt? Do you want to fast track your way into home ownership? If you're a young person perhaps, or somebody who's been unfortunately locked out of the housing market for a long period of time and you just can't see a way that you're going to be able to get yourself back in. Well, I would say that just focus on Bitcoin, because with Bitcoin you'll be able to leverage your way in, because Bitcoin is significantly outperforming real estate. And so all of these things require a degree of personal empowerment. And in order to be personally empowered, you don't need permission. And I believe that Bitcoin represents financial personal empowerment. It is the separation from the system. It is the separation of money from state. It is the digression of financial energy from the established debt-based financial system that is really slowly sinking, and yet most people don't realize it yet. And so I hope you got some value there today. I wanted to just share that insight with you. Permission is something that you do not need when it comes to learning about something that is going to make your life better. Unfortunately, the way that these control systems have evolved over the last 40, 50 years, the financial system, the healthcare system, the education system, you and I both know that those systems, when we really think about it and we analyze it and we think critically about them, they're systems of control. They're not necessarily designed to do what's best for us. They're systems that are designed for us to be reliant on them, to hand ourselves over to them, to just stay in our lane and to not question or think outside the box. So this is why I love Bitcoin, because it's not just the financial sovereignty and thinking outside the square and being able to be financially self-empowered that it stands for, but it also stands for creating a better society, a better community, making the world a better place. And so I'll leave it there today, but that's my little rant from the house here this afternoon as we await Cyclone Alfred is what they're calling it, and it's apparently about 2 or 3 hours away, but we've done all we can to prepare here, and we're just going to sit here and wait it out. But I wanted to share that insight with you, that video with you. I hope you got some value today. Please like, share and subscribe if you got value. Again, it just encourages me to keep showing up, sharing my insight, my take on the Bitcoin space and how it can help make your life better. I want to thank you for joining me. Again, like, share and subscribe. Leave me a comment if you feel you'd like to do that. And I look forward to talking with you in the next one. This is Zane signing out. Bye for now.